we're going to pick up a couple of weeks into the, not future, but a couple of weeks, catching back up with Marshall's timeline, so to speak. Fire Sage, what have you been doing in the time that you've had?
I have been getting up to some fun business. Sage has been, well, I've been spending my time going and digging deeper in. The confrontation last time with the professor has kind of put her in a bit of a fraught state, and she's been looking for something to do, and so she settled on doing risky magic to herself in order to charge up all of her senses in order to kind of see what would happen and to test her own limits a bit, and also because it is, probably helpful with heading to Egypt. And so for the next, and thanks to some successful rituals, for the next month, she benefits from seeing the non-visible spectrums and being able to sense non-audible sounds and radio data signals and whatnot, which is gonna be kind of hell a little bit, I think, but also the sort of noise to drown out the stress and complicated emotions.
Speaking of that, actually, because this would be a little bit of a case of sensory overload, why don't you give me a resolve plus composure?
Ooh,
to tell
yes.
me how well you're handling that little bit of sensory overload.
Yes. Is this one of the days where they've meditated?
Sage does it every day pretty much, so I would assume so, unless there's a specific reason why Sage wouldn't.
Yeah. I guess if it was like early enough or if they were thrown off of their rhythm. But with that, 2 successes.
All right. You're able, I mean, it bugs, but it's something manageable.
Yeah. I think maybe they found it kind of helpful to, using some things to deafen the sounds and vision a little bit by, keeping some earplugs in and wearing sunglasses, which I think is part of the reason they, besides covering up their deformity, or not deformity, disfigurement of, like, actual human disfigurement of burn scars. It's to deal with the sensory overload.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
What have you been doing in the last couple of weeks?
Well, besides helping to scrounge supplies,
Oh, yes.
I imagine he's been still trying to get in touch with either his Arisen or the judges of Duat. Maybe get some hint? Something. He's just... I don't know how else to put it. Yeah.
Somebody answer me, please.
Somebody answer me, yes. What are we meant to do? I mean, I know what we're meant to do, but... help!
Unfortunately, the judges and Arisen have been somewhat mute on this matter.
Yeah, but that does not stop him from trying.
No, I don't think it would stop anybody. Edmond.
What does that kind of look like? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I was just dying myself. Yes, Edmund.
What has Edmond been up to? I'm assuming partly trying to acquire a plane that can make it across the ocean.
Edmund's splitting his time between 2 tasks, that of finding a plane and fixing it himself because he's tired of them blowing up on him.
Give me that roll.
What role do you want, sir?
This is definitely gonna be... Oh, this is long-term repair, so I'm thinking intelligence plus crafts. Or I think in the book it says you can substitute in the case of like cars, etc., you can substitute crafts for drive, if I'm not mistaken.
I would like to, if possible, go to like the university, the George Washington College,
Mm-hmm.
and basically get a load of books from the engineering courses and help out if I can on that.
All right. Go ahead. So this is going to be a teamwork roll. This is going to be, it's the same roll, so it would be intelligence plus crafts unless he changes it to drive on you, which I'm so sorry if he does.
Oh, both are not good.
However, you are going to get a +2 because of your books.
Because drive would give me 1 extra dice.
Okay, so it's
Drive
not...
is, I'll be honest, drive is better for me. It's a -1, not a -3.
Oh, okay. So we'll do intelligence drive here.
Okay. You're going to get a +2 from your books.
+2 and a -1. So +1 for...
And you can, of course, spend willpower here.
I'll take the 5. That's pretty good.
Okay.
Nothing.
Wow.
Sorry, Gandhi.
All right.
It happens. Anyways.
He didn't need you. Keep your books.
You're able to find a plane. You're able to scrounge the fuel together. And there was no plane sitting on enough fuel to make this journey, quite frankly.
Yeah, has to be expected.
This plane is in top shape. At least everything you can tell is in top shape.
That's not good enough.
It is a...
Edmond can handle, risky landings, but we're going over an ocean. If we cut out over the water, looks like top shape's not good enough for him here.
It is also a smaller plane. It's not a commercial airliner or anything like that. It is big enough to hold, everybody that needs to be brought along, but it is something Edmund's maybe a little bit more comfortable with as well.
Okay, well, then, if that aspect of the time is suitably done, Edmund would spend the rest of it messing with pyros.
Okay.
Specifically, we're crossing an ocean, and I suspect he's not going to have... He doesn't think he's going to have another moment of free time for a moment, so... going to take advantage of the pyros he's getting and prepare a bunch of distillations.
A bunch of your cigarettes. So go ahead and give me that roll to start making those. We're going to just do a bulk roll here.
I can't wait to fail it. Alright. And
come on, where's your
intelligence occult?
Yeah. It was intelligence crafts, I believe.
Specialty then, whatever.
And oh, nice.
Go ahead and take the inspired crafts, and as you are making your cigarettes, you're not quite sure how it happened. You thought you were going to end up with what's a good number here? 10? Like, what was the set number that you were thinking in your head here? 10?
I
20?
randomly wrote out a bunch of them. How much did I end up with? 4, 8, 10, 12, 4. I had 15.
You end up with 30. You're not quite sure how. Apparently, maybe your refining method was a little bit better than you realized. But you end up with double the amount that you expected.
To be honest, Edmund's a little suspicious of that and doesn't trust that he did it right. Um,
Well,
The only way to know is to smoke them all.
actually,
yeah, I mean,
this
test a few, see what happens.
this is the point that I'm going to say. You don't remember your process that you did here.
Ah, excellent. He he does it, comes back in the next day. All right, time to start. What do you mean it's already done?
However, it's been a couple of weeks and still no Marshall.
I feel like there were more of you before.
We don't really have time to sit around waiting for Marshall to come back from whatever he's doing.
Well, we did 2 weeks ago when we had a bunch of other stuff to get done. But I suppose that time has run out.
That's how time does. Well,
Did
if
we ever figure out where he went?
Something about his form. Apart from that,
Yeah, I
serum.
remember we were told he was rambling about serum or something. But
Serum,
I can't
yeah.
remember if we had gotten a direction more than that.
He was mentioning it, but
No, he never mentioned where he was going outside of he was going to go talk to the Vasco agent. That was essentially the last lead the last thing you had heard, that he was going to check in with him just to see if maybe he had more information, since, you know, it didn't seem like they were part of the same organization, but they were at least somewhat aligned organizations.
All right.
with time being of the essence as it is, I think we can only wish him the best in whatever dalliance he's engaged with, I suppose.
Need I remind you that if you fall and scrape your knee in the desert, there's going to be no one to help you.
hey, it's always me.
You're not a doctor.
I do have the good medicines, though. She kind of gives a cackle at that.
Look, we've already burned 2 weeks. We can spend another day or something trying to track him down. If we can figure out where that individual from Philadelphia is holed up in this city, perhaps he might know his whereabouts.
That would probably be
Understandable.
that would probably be something you would probably know off the top of your head. He was not hostile to you. You helped his family get out, you know. It's not necessarily that he would hide his location from you either. So it is something that you would realistically know.
Right. Well, then, instead of me rambling about how we need to find him, I'm going to ramble about how I'm going to go talk to him. And if people don't... Well, people are going to have to deal with it, because you're not flying over there yourself.
Well, hurry up. We haven't got all day.
Oh, I'll limp as fast as I can, good sir. Don't worry. Go count the cans of peaches in the back room. Why don't you do another inventory check?
Oh yeah, how's the scrounging been going? We got enough stuff now?
Scrounging's been going at a slow but steady pace. Canned food supplies are better than you could have hoped, worse than you had feared type situation.
Yeah, because I think in between all the rituals, Sage has still been, getting to that, doing their foraging through the city. And, have I seen heads or tails of the family while out doing the foraging?
The family has attempted to kind of stay to themselves, so they haven't been out a lot. They are mostly in the colonial village region, so across the Potomac.
Well, that gives us a place to go. Who all's heading there?
Edmund, I think, was the only one that was actively moving there. The other two were...
Hunting peaches.
Yes.
I'll take doing something that ain't just gathering stuff up. Need a change of pace.
Seth,
Yes.
are you going to join them, or?
I will join Arwat's counting peaches. Something I want to kind of fill him in on.
Oh, okay. Well then, Edmond and Sage make their way out. I am somewhat curious as to what Seth wants to fill Awat in on.
Yes, indeed.
He found a can of pumpkin-like filling that he was saving.
Don't tell any of the others. Yes, it's been some time. I've been, well, in the last few weeks, I've been trying to uncover what I can. But in our last defiant stand, I suppose, in Philadelphia, I had a final run-in with the proprietor of the risk of Club Risk. Somewhat very different from when we first met him. More functioning as what could only be described as an avatar, I suppose.
You mean that fat fool?
Yes, his body. I doubt his mind, and it was he lacked the brash aggression that when we first met him. Much more informed, much more aligned with us. Now, I don't know if this was some sort of game being played, but he said, well, whatever it was inhabiting him at that point, it identified itself as one of the judges.
What?
Well, like I say, I wanted to do a bit more, hopefully uncover a little bit more research before I told anyone, but it's nothing. Now, I don't know if that's something else that's onto us and is playing some kind of mind game, or if it's legitimately one of them. Unfortunately,
what did it say? Did it give a name?
Can you help me out here, GM? It's on my notes.
Why wouldn't you put it in your notes?
On a different page.
No,
So many pages.
I actually do know his name. These names are a pain to pronounce. It would be the final judge, Arim Abfu.
Yeah, that's what I wrote.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, I remembered who it was. I'm just like, oh god, you're gonna make me say the name.
Now, I'm sure that name means something to you as much as it does to I, but unfortunately, I haven't been able to uncover anything. This is the first appearance for quite some time, at least in our stratosphere, I suppose.
So you're saying Aram themselves came to deliver a message?
I believe so. Like I say, I don't know if it was some form of trickery, but I can't be sure.
if that is a trick, that would be a very convincing one. If I had been there, I'm sure I would have been down on my knees instantly.
Oh,
What?
I don't
What?
think.
Go ahead.
I think I was too taken aback, and after all, I wasn't expecting it from such an unlikable fellow. So, rather taken aback myself.
But if it is a genuine sign from above, what was the message? That could be very important, if true.
Again, storyteller. I'm going to sort through my notes and actually find this.
And the message was basically stating that the judges realized how much of a threat this was, this contagion. They handed over the relic to Seth and basically stated, we're going to allow this next path to open to you. More or less. I'm changing the words there because I feel like it's more thematic to say it that way.
And then his body, frankly, just gave out.
That makes sense. There are very few who could contain the might of Aram. He would normally only, make himself known if there was a, what do you say, someone messing with the righteousness of Duat. So I wonder if this defiler showing up had some part to play in that as well, in addition to, the state of the world as it is now. Perhaps those two things kind of forced his hand.
I can only speculate as much as you can, I suppose.
It doesn't sound like a lie. There are very few to none who would dare to impersonate the final judge himself. Those that do would likely not survive for very long. No matter who they are. I think this is something we can trust. And you said he was opening the way, or some such?
Showing us he was allowing this next stage to pass. And showing us the next step. And shortly after that, I received a call from my old colleagues, and well, it's only human nature to find these patterns in things, but sometimes there's method in the madness.
Yes. Iram. He revealed Iram to us. It must be.
It seemed like such a improbable jump. I just wanted to be sure. I'm sorry.
No, that... I mean, I'm glad you told me. Better late than never, I suppose. I have been meditating and praying desperately for so long in these times, trying to get some message, some sign, some clue. And you, my boy, you've received said message. This is excellent news. That means we're on the right path.
I do hope so. In light of that, I've, back at the university, I've actually got a bottle of brandy from one of my old students. Keeping it in the drawer for a special occasion. I think it's about time I go and get it.
Yes, indeed. I don't drink much, but this is indeed the right time for that.
And on that note, let us get back to Sage and Edmond. You guys have made your way across the Potomac, taking Highway 66 across. Followed it up until it exits onto Wilson Boulevard, and then followed Wilson Boulevard all the way to Colonial Village. Doesn't take you too long to find the only house with lights on. You know, a betting sort is obviously going to put their money there.
Yeah, of course. I shall be going there.
Sure, but first, can I bum a smoke?
You know, there's not a lot of... Fine, but I want you to go check the gas stations for them yourself next time.
Alright. I've seen you roll those fancy ones. Put a lot of care into it. I'm curious what you put in those.
Ah, well, you're gonna have to stay curious.
Okay. Keep your secrets.
It isn't too long that you... too long after you begin to approach the house. The man steps out, rifle kind of slung over his shoulder. He kind of shouts out, "You guys have a habit of showing up and me nearly taking your heads off."
Hi. It's not too unsurprising. Well, anyways, ignoring our grand entrance here. I'm glad my head remains intact because I need to speak to you. Our colleague, one Marshall. I am under the impression he came to speak with you a few weeks back.
Yes. We talked mostly about our old organizations. He was part of a elite unit known as Task Force Valkyrie. Something not dissimilar from my own alphabet soup.
Right. I could care less about Marshall's background. Not the problem. The man's missing and we're running out of time to wait for him.
Well, you see, his backstory matters then.
It does, or you could just give me an address. Where'd you send him? Where did he go off to? Did he mention, like, a street, a city?
The last place I left him. I had to do a bit of digging. But he's heading to an old laboratory of Task Force Valkyrie at the Pentagon. It's located near the center, underneath the subway. The irony of it being underneath a restaurant is... he kind of shrugs.
I don't get the irony.
The irony is that the military is hiding under a subway. Anyways, I thank you for your time. I will proceed in search for him there post-haste. Unless he has returned since then.
He has not, and I warned him. I was not sure of that location's defenses or anything. You could be walking into a hornet's nest.
It ain't the first time I've flown into a hornet's nest.
Yeah,
Probably not going to be the
funny.
last either.
Before heading out, Sage makes a little small talk. Just kind of, how are the wife? How's the wife? The little fellas?
They're doing fine. That does remind me, though. There's one other very big bit of information.
Oh, yeah?
We had to duck our heads a couple days back. Seems like I mean, I can't be for certain. It's a different car and it's a different motorcycle. But I can't help but think that they're in DC again.
Well, you might want to hit the road. That ain't the best sort of company to be keeping.
I have no intentions of keeping company with them. However, I don't think I personally need to duck my head. It seems like they were far more interested in, you guys.
Oh. Alright.
Well,
They seem to
if
be,
he arrives again, I will put him on his ass like I did last time. But I should probably give a call to the others.
Just be careful out there.
I appreciate the concern.
You too.
Care for yourself. The end of the world is upon us, after all.
Yeah. Especially them little critters. Goes and kind of makes the gesture for like the child. Like, you watch out. These ain't safe times. You raise
Most
family.
people don't prefer having their children called critters, by the way.
Well, that's news to me. I think
I'd
it's
like
a term
to have not a
endearment.
repeat of what happened at the Washington Monument.
Ugh.
Anyway,
She kind of grumbles. Listen,
Edmund's gonna start walking away and gonna send a quick, text to the other two saying, the other cult quite possibly has re-arrived back in DC, just so you know.
Oh, I hope your family doesn't die, buddy. She goes and claps him on the shoulder and chuckles, walking off.
He shifts somewhat uncomfortably, but any sort of issue he has with that statement, he keeps it to himself and goes back in. In a couple of minutes, if you were to check over your shoulder, let's say by the time you get to the end of the block or something, you would just see maybe a little bit of a glint of the scope of his rifle as he, returns to his post.
I think maybe she hears kind of the telltale sounds of bolts being fiddled with or something, the little clicking of metal or something like that on her dog-like ears now. There's something kind of satisfying about getting a reaction there, even a negative one. But yeah, let's find a subway.
Just for we're walking the same direction. Edmund's gonna stop at Arlington on the way there.
The National Cemetery?
He's fought in 4 wars.
Anybody specific, or just honoring all the fallen?
Don't
men?
have the time. Just a short, world's ending. Pay my respects while I can, because I may not come back to do it again.
I think Sage kind of kicks her boots about in the there for a little bit, but you can see her stop by one of the gravestones and end up kind of fixating on it for a time. Nothing particularly special about it, but she kind of squats down on her knees and takes a look at it, pondering over, trying to figure out what it means to her, this sort of symbol of this.
One buried there. Friend of yours, family, distant ancestor.
I wouldn't know if it was. No. Have you used one of these before? Goes and taps the gravestone.
I've put a lot of friends in the ground here and elsewhere. A lot of bodies that aren't going to be given a proper tombstone.
Yeah.
these are the lucky ones here to be honored here, but
I think it's... Lately it seems like it's all the same. We're all heading towards the same sort of spot. Whether it's got a gravestone or not. This whole place is coming down. Any grave is gonna end up being just the same as far as the winds and the sky and whatever's left behind sees it. There's something about this.
you could think of it that way. But yeah, take a look around you. All those who fell here, fighting for a cause.
Yeah.
It's disgraceful to give up now. Just because the world's tumbling to its end doesn't mean we quit.
I ain't quitting.
Every sacrifice would have been in vain.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I've seen these before. Or at least I think I've seen a photo of these somewhere in the... Knocks on her head. But it's hard to all put it together. It's curious though, you know? All the this of it all. Well,
Graves aren't too uncommon. It's a common practice in the West. I'm sure you've seen them before. I don't know
Yeah.
what's amnesia you've stumbled into, but
you still don't get it. That's alright. Well, we shouldn't dally here any longer. We got places to be. We got subways to go to. These folks ain't going nowhere. They are resting forever, as it says on this here grave. She goes and stubs out her smoke on one of them. Here's to you, buddy. Have one.
no, you're right. No point in dwelling here any longer.
Yeah.
What I fear is that we're going to have to come back here on the way home. And leave Marshall here too, but...
Yeah. Well, you know, I seemed dead serious all the time.
Edmund's gonna continue walking away.
I kind of want to do it here. Give me a presence plus persuasion gallows humor.
Yeah, I feel like that might honestly be a better persuasion specialty than folksy charm at this point. I might need to switch that out somewhat. Yeah, I am not. Oh my god.
Roll to not piss off the Guardian Geist.
Yeah. You mind if I switch that out, since that seems to be a consistent character thing at this point?
Gallows humor, sure.
Okay. I think that's not done a ton of folksy charm. Alright, let's see. 2 successes. Lots of gallows.
As black as that was, it wasn't necessarily a bad joke.
Edmund knows that. There's been worse jokes. That's common humor in war, but
Yeah. Maybe I've been to war. Who knows? I don't.
It's at this point that, despite your conversations, Seth and Awa, you would have, by this time, definitely seen the message Edmund sent.
It's getting back with the bottle of brandy. It's I hate to tell you, but I think this might have to wait.
Oh, what happened?
Just a message from Edmund. You might want to have a look yourself. And I'll show my phone to Awat, who I'm assuming still hasn't charged.
Nope.
Charged.
He doesn't know. What was the message again? Remind me.
There's a very good chance that the other cult's back in the city.
Oh, okay. That is very concerning, especially since we're about to leave.
Absolutely. Well, I think it's...
What if?
Do they know where to find us?
You mean the other cult that, already infiltrated us and killed one of our lead members?
Absolutely, yeah. Do they know we're here?
Probably. Oh, you mean here now, just not our general location. Okay.
Not either. I think for the time being, it's best if you take one relic, I'll take the other, and I think we relocate for the time being.
Sounds like a good idea. I had another thought. How feasible would it be to move the Arisen? Because those who follow that particular way of unlife tend to corrupt all those around them. Especially they aim for others like them, other Arisen.
All I can think is that, there weren't much use earlier. I was trying to help with the supplying for the inevitable journey we're about to make, but I've got a whole book of engineering books, whole stack of engineering books. There's probably something in there about an engine. I don't know the first thing about hot wiring a car, but if we get a small truck, then if we could load them up, make it quick, make a fast getaway, all being well and good.
I think we should look into that, yes.
I will pass a couple of the books over to our Watts and say, okay, I don't think these were ever meant with criminal intent, but needs must.
And we're gonna go back to Edmond and Sage. You guys have arrived at the subway within the Pentagon.
Right, so where's the hidden piston force field door? The top secret military technology.
Ooh,
The teleporter in the back room.
Yeah,
I might be able to do
as
that.
you go into said back room, you do see the very conspicuously opened trapdoor in the floor.
I hate ladders.
Whew. Ladders.
This may take me a moment. Yeah, hard to go down with a stiff leg.
You don't look as old as you really are, huh?
What gave you that impression? You don't think I'm pushing a healthy 130? It's all about the skincare,
Well, I ain't really seen many folks get up that far in age, but it's not to my recollection. So I couldn't say. Maybe that's what a 130-year-old looks like. But the fella with the big old, or she makes kind of a face emulating Awat, right? Yeah. He seems a bit more fit in the sort of times. Oh, well, ladies first. And she clambers on down the ladder. So, is this that America you were talking about before?
We have not left it.
Yeah, but this is the Is this the main one? Or is this,
This, as I'm attempting to get down the ladder, it may take me a moment.
Yeah.
Um, this is at HQ, basically the offices of the Department of Defense. This was like headquarters of military.
I see. And the military, that's you and all them people in their graves back there. It's-
No. Officially, I'm not and haven't been for a while, but
Just imagine this whole building filled with so many little Edmonds walking around, grumbling, smoking your special cigarettes. Oh,
wasn't quite like that. Not exactly a commonplace thing.
yeah? Yeah. Seems it. Despite her generally kind of messed up appearance with the scars and burns and whatnot, she's in surprisingly good shape, and she just kind of hoop down the ladder quite well with the good stamina, the good athletics, and kicks her boots while waiting.
So what's at the bottom of this ladder?
At the bottom of this ladder is a hallway. This hallway is much more metallic than those up above ground. This was definitely meant to be a completely sterile field to an extent. The metal is highly polished. You were pretty sure in its heyday you probably could slide across the floor if you so desired.
Okay. So can I, with my heightened senses, since it's sterile, it should be pretty easy to pick out, or relatively sparse to pick out any notable things, like a heat signature of someone, or if there's something, glowing with a electrical charge or something.
Well, electrical charge, this place does still have power, so you're going to see electrical charge all over the place. As for thermal signatures, unless you're able to see through walls, no, you're not going to be able to see that. However,
You should say that, because that's what Edmund's about to do.
one thing that you would be able to see, though, there is plenty of fluid. I said at one point this place was pristine. It is no longer pristine, however.
Interesting. Something has happened here. See,
Yeah, it's been in disrepair for a year and a half.
No. There's fluids here. Can I try to use survival to kind of track that? Track these sort of fluid things? Use them to get a sense of, if they were coming from same way you would use it to see if, like, which way a deer was heading or something by the freshness of things, something like that.
You can go ahead. It's going to be at a -2 penalty.
All right. Would that be with survival?
Yes.
Okay.
It's just water, pipe sprung a leak or something. This was government, so
success.
it wasn't funded.
One success. This is not contrary to what Edmund stated. This is blood. Old blood. Mostly dried. It certainly happened a while ago. As for direction, I mean, as you start looking at that, you start looking at the walls and you start seeing the bullet holes. And you start noticing that there's quite a few. It seems like there was a lot of gunfire in this region at some point in the past.
Interesting. Someone has been emptying their whole darn barrel into these walls. Would have been, this dried enough, I'd estimate this might be our man. Or done by our man. It's had enough time to dry. It's been some,
It is completely dried.
yeah.
It's been a couple of years at least.
Oh, okay. I thought
Yeah.
like a week or something.
No.
Oh,
It's much older.
And this is something old, though. Yeah. This is at least years or something. Something went down here. And,
Let's hope that whatever went down here ended here.
uh-huh.
And with that, Edward's going to draw his handgun because he's breaching an unknown building.
Sam.
And I'm going to use one of the distillation piercing sight because we're breaching an unknown building and it's very, very nice for breaching buildings.
All right, give me your stamina plus survival. Yeah, my brain froze for a second. Sorry.
Mm.
As you light your Pyros cigarette, your eyes begin to pierce the metal. What exactly are the limitations and details of this?
It is the same thing I used in Promethean, essentially. You get 10 yards of sight through solid matter per success, essentially. There are,
2
a
yards.
couple others. You can reduce cover and whatnot by Azoth, but I don't really have Azoth. It's magnitude. Yeah.
Mm.
Anyways, I have 20 yards of sight through the walls, essentially.
You see bodies, but bodies that are still moving. You have just finished listening to this week's episode of Mummy the Curse 2nd Edition Final Hours, part of the Domain Gaming's Contagion Anthology, written and told by Wyverian. A special thanks to you, the listener. And if you wish to continue supporting us, subscribe, like, and share. As always, comments are welcome. Until the next chapter, don't stop asking yourself, in the fading memories of this dying world, can we discover a way to survive?